UFrag on that CT side and United Estonia on the T side to start this one off. And I'm curious to see what United Estonia do to kick this one off. I remember basically all of the players on this side being quite aggressive players in themselves, and I want to see that come into play right from the get-go here. I want to see them just charge straight on in towards the site, and looks like the B site is going to be the call to kick this one off, and it's going to be HS leading the charge here with his dualies to start this one off. If he can pull something off with the dualies, that's really going to set the bar for this game. But charging on into the site, Stanley has spotted them out, and he is going to be able to find the first kill, and it's going to be a couple of kills coming across for this CT side so far. Debaser here as well, and it's going to be Yoshi going down in the end as the T's trying to push in onto this site, but so far they're being kind of halted in their tracks. Mick now looking again for these headshots, but he's only got a Glock to work with, and at that kind of range it's not really going to be the greatest of weapons. And now Boaster, he's picked up HS's dual Berettas, but I'm not sure if there's going to be much he can really do with them at this spot now. 5 versus 4. What? 2 versus 4? I can't count. Here we go. Boaster with the dualies does find one.
Interesting way to kick off this round, obviously using those very specialist weapons right now on the Hunter Boaster, making them look fairly easy to control, but unfortunately for him, not going to work out. That grey hype will come in with a frag, and Debaser will claim one as well. That is going to be the pistol round going to the side of UFrag with a very effective defense there. We saw that actually quite aggressive style of play coming out of that. I didn't expect immediately going for a counter boost into the first round, and it caught them off guard. I feel like there might have been some more potential if we actually saw HS with you know, potentially a 5-7 or something, rather than the dualies. He did land 2 tags over towards XFP, but couldn't take him down, obviously, because of the restricted firepower. But a heavy aggressive play coming out from United Estonia right now. They want to just barrage their way upside and try and take that A-bomb site with force. Powell will find that frag, but it's only going to be one before he's traded out. Luckily, this ball, his team makes enough time to rotate over. A little bit of a block comes out as well that could have really put MCK in a horrid situation. On that bomb site, XFP with an auto shotgun as well. If he can use this correctly off the back of the close angle, could just rip his way through.
We say that we saw a similar thing from United Estonia against Alta Urigo last week. They actually had an abysmal first half of the game. Nice shot comes out from Debaser there. And it's just going to be Boaster, the last terrorist remaining. He's got a Tech 9, but I'm not sure Tech 9's going to be enough right now. As Stanley jumps up and just blows his head off. About 17 times. A similar thing from United Estonia against Alta Urigo last week. They actually had an abysmal first half of the game. Nice shot comes out from Debaser there. And it's just going to be Boaster, the last terrorist remaining. He's got a Tech 9, but I'm not sure Tech 9's going to be enough right now. As Stanley jumps up and just blows his head off. About 17 times there to finish off the round. But as I was saying, United Estonia, I think, was it them that was down like 13-2 in the first half of their game last week, and then they ended up winning in overtime up against Alta Urigo. So I think United Estonia are definitely going to be one of the teams this season that no matter what the score is, no matter what the situation is, they can never quite be counted out.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently the conversation went down as well when it got into that second half in that game. HS asked Joe what they wanted to do, and Joe said, let's just win. And they did, so maybe that'll be something that comes out into the fold into this one. But heavy aggression coming out towards that A-bomb site. Powell's there, UMP in hand, controlling it from range, but Hype will be the man to actually land the final blow. Comes in, he's going to be able to get up into this elevated angle as he goes on the hunt to try and find Fetz. Spraying near him, will eventually be able to recover that recoil on the headshot. MCK, though, on this close angle should kill him as he bounces around the corner. A little bit of a panic come out, not going too fantastically, but he'll eventually recover and land the headshot to take him down. Now, all of those pistol rounds have been picked up. Sorry, the rounds off the back of that successful pistol round being picked up by UFrag. The buy will go out for United Estonia. But who will take the first rifle round? Now, really, this is going to be one of the rounds that's most important to set the pace of the game and try and show you how it's going to develop over the course of this first half.
I like this decision here from Stanley to just keep hold of this shotgun. With the angle that he's been playing over towards this B site, it's relatively safe for him to just keep this shotgun. An AK is not actually, or an M4, sorry, isn't going to be that much more effective than his XM1014 right here, and he's going to be able to find a kill onto Fetz as well. He's looking for his second, but he will get shut down by HS in the end. And the terrorists still in the castle right now. They know they've lost 2 members and maybe need to decide which site they actually want to commit to at this stage as they decide to finally group up. We're going to see Boaster heading over towards the rest of his teammates here. Still 3 CTs on this site, though. They have only lost 1 player here. And Stanley honestly didn't really lose that much that round. He used his grenades. He had that shotgun that he had off one of his eco rounds a long time ago. But the rotation coming out from Powell is going to mean there's only 2 CTs here, and that's going to be the green light for go, as Joe is going to be the first one to charge in onto the site. It's going to be Mick finding one, though, and it's traded straight back across. Boaster now, the last terrorist remaining, as his teammates do go down. The bomb is on site, though, and it's in a terrible spot. Powell finishes the round off with that AWP, and that is going to be a 4th one on the trot for UFrag.
Yeah, nice stuff coming out there. Going to be able to keep that pressure on. That's what they had to do, really. Good stuff. Locking down this CT half. Meanwhile, United Estonia, not a lot really to go on here. I'm going to go for the force, see if they can find anything out of this. Squeeze some blood out of a stone, potentially, with this bit of a mixed bag of a buy. Slow, methodical play. Not actually going for that straight rush, though, as they wait to try and gain drop-down control and then make their move in towards the B bomb site. Just grouping up. They've got barely limited utility to work with, but they're going to try and just wait before they have to use it. Don't want to go overly headstrong and lose their opportunity.
Stanley in a great spot here if they push on in, but the fight has begun as they start to push in towards the middle of this B site, and it's going to be Joe finding one with the Desert Eagle there. And we can see the CTs rotating over. Yoshi going to be the first one onto the site, as it's only Joe remaining now. I thought it was going to be a really good push from UE, but they just can't really find the shots. And now Joe in a 1 versus 3. The Deagle isn't going to be enough for him, and he's going to be taken out in the end. So another round for UFrag, and United Estonia don't seem to be able to find their footing right now. The AKs are going to come on through, though, and if there's one weapon that I remember these players really stepping up with in the last season, it was the AK-47. So many times we saw massive sprays coming out from these players, especially Fetz. Fetz was the one for me that when it came to the AK-47, when it came to getting those multi-man sprays, he was the one to look to. And we'll see whether he's going to be able to live up to the kind of name he built for himself last season in this round as they push on forwards. It's going to be Hype trying to deny this push, and will be able to force one away, but Powell is going to be taken out by Joe, trying to prove that he does still have it, as you were saying earlier on in this game. And now that's finally a good start to the round coming out for United Estonia.
Yeah, effective stuff so far. Making that slow push towards the A-bomb site. The spam through the smoke, but somehow actually Yossi's going to find that frag from miles away. Lands that headshot on towards Boaster. That's absolutely grand stuff. Push towards the A-bomb site, eventually about to unfold. Mick wanted to try and land that headshot, but unfortunately for him, couldn't quite control it to take down the man in the elevated angle. Joe, looking a little bit dazed and confused there, will go down, but here is HS and Mick finally returning to form, landing 2 amazing headshots to start to recover this round. Hype and Debase are the only 2 men left standing. They're not in a great angle, but they eventually try and make it work. Hype, as he slowly makes that crawl up towards ramp, lands the shot on towards HS, and now has to deal with 2 more men. Make it only 1 as Fetz gets bested by Debaser. They're standing for the game, the perilous man, as he slowly makes that push up towards the site. Spots out Mick, the spray comes in, and they take it. UFrag not dropping around yet.
Yeah, UFrag playing absolutely on form so far, and I mean, we'd said we haven't seen these guys yet. We don't quite know what to expect. We've only seen them in the promotions tournament, and I mean, we saw the working men in the promotions tournament as well, and the working men didn't really step up today. UFrag, however, not living up to that same expectation. They are exceeding expectations right now, and United Estonia yet to get around on the board, having to go with a... I mean, they do manage to get themselves an AK and armor buyout once more, and I'm curious to see how they play this one, because they've tried fast-paced games, they've tried slow-paced games so far, and neither of them really managing to work out. They just seem to be being bested right now by UFrag. But we're only 6 rounds in. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Both teams very much in the running still. But I've got to say, this CT side from UFrag so far is really impressing me.
Yeah, it's been quite effective, especially the fact, you know, they've got that standing coming into the fold. You have Mike taking over as the caller. It's a whole, you know, change the dynamic of the team, and it doesn't seem to have destabilized them. They seem very on point. Communication seems fantastic. Everyone seeming very drilled. Hype, elevated angle right now, looking down. He has the high ground. If they're not prepared for this, he should be able to really rack up a multi-kill, an absolute flurry of frags as they push out, looking away at barely the wrong time there. That could have been very awkward. Begin to slowly creep through, but somehow Boaster reacts amazingly fast, lands that headshot, hunting Hype, taking him down, and making their lives so much easier when they go for this push on towards the bomb site. They only have to deal with Pal now.
Spotted him out there. And that is going to mean that Stanley needs to just get on out of this area.
Look at the flank
Little
as well.
does he know, though, Joe is just waiting for him to get out to the B site. It was on the way. Fetz is going to be able to get that bomb down, though. And now it's all about this retake, but they're dropping left, right, and centre right now. Stanley, the last man remaining, and I don't know whether he even wants to go for this retake right now. UFrag, finally, it looks like, are going to drop around as United Estonia find their way onto a site for the first time this game. Stanley looking for an exit frag, to be quite honest. HS going to peek him. I think he spotted him out there. And that is going to mean that Stanley needs to just get on out of this area.
Look at the flank
Little
as
does
well.
he know, though, Joe is just waiting for him to get out to the B site. That is going to punish him. And that is going to be finally United Estonia getting one onto the board for themselves. But look at the cash in the pockets of UFrag. They can go for the rebuy pretty comfortably here.
Yeah, scary factor is there as well. There's potential for them to actually reset that economy of the United Estonia side. And that could be very detrimental to the health of that team. But it's all up in the air at this point. What will UE go for into the following round? Slow stuff on the board. Doesn't seem like they will go for an all-out aggression. Splitting up so they can play a bit of this default, just try and harass in certain areas of the maps, force out information from UFrag, and most importantly, get them to waste utility very early on into the round so they make their lives so much easier when they go for their execute or site takes later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe pushing up fairly aggressively here. He's maybe looking to try and punish anyone that goes for that counter boost, but no one decided to go for this one. The CT's playing this one very carefully. We're going to see Hype in this spot. And we saw last game didn't really work out. I think it was Connor in it last time we saw it and just got punished immediately. But he's looking for Mick, who does spot him and immediately gets that headshot. Powell going to be there, though. Does manage to answer for one, but immediately gets taken out. And now the terrorist once more with an advantage here. And it's going to be HS. Immediately takes out Boaster. Debaser, sorry, as he tries to get onto that site. And here we go. Yoshi and Stanley going to be the last two CTs. And I honestly don't know if they're even going to try for a retake on this one. They're pushing their way through the castle. I think maybe still deciding whether they want to go for anything here, but I'd be surprised, to be honest, if they go for this 2 versus 4.
Really not much of a stake left in this. They're still going to have money to play with, but that economy of United Estonia is fragile. They could try and get some exit frags, but it's not worth actively hunting right now if you're on that side of UFrag. Just hold your angles, try and hold onto your weapons. You don't have to go for the rebuy, and just do as much damage as possible when they hunt you. And this is prime time example of that. XFP with the 2K still has his weapon, but is going to force out a minimum of 3 rebuys now from the side of UE. Great work.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanley just completely steps up, wipes out a couple of the members of United Estonia, and just forces their economy to be that little bit worse off in this next round. But, I mean, that little bit worse off isn't going to be the end of the world right now for United Estonia, as they're getting a couple of rounds on the board. They've got enough to go for that rebuy, and still got a little bit of cash to work with going towards the next round as well. So they're feeling pretty okay about this game right now. And you can see the economic difference right there. $16,000 advantage in the buy here. And Stanley already tagged out pretty heavily by a grenade there. And that's one of the couple of players that actually have a rifle for UFrag in this round. But here we go. It's Debaser jumping pretty aggressively, decides to back away again in the end. Does have the P250, but Fess just takes his head off, and now Yoshi is going to find Mick. Can he find the shots, though? That's going to be the question as Mick pushes forward, and it is going to be Yoshi grabbing another one for himself. But now Boaster pushing forwards towards the CTs and gets the spray control. Really nicely done by Boaster on that one, and now just Yoshi remaining for UFrag. This is going to be another United Estonia round.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff coming out right now. All of a sudden left on Yoshi. Obviously not too many to actually go into this round with on the side of UFrag. They only had those 2 weapons, and they had to be critical. They were the factors that would have changed the pace of the round, given them a bit of breathing room, but didn't work out that way. They've immediately been pinned down. The only one that's got a frag is Yoshi. Can he double it up? Has the natural tools, has the weapon. We'll find that headshot on towards Boaster. but still 3 men to deal with. No chance that he'll ever be able to get that defused unless he suddenly turns into the Flash and sprints across the map, and he's getting converged on. Everyone flooding towards his position at the same time. He'll find out Fetz, but Fetz, jumping headshot there as he lands it with a Tech 9. That is just ridiculous. Yeah,
it certainly is, and that is going to be a third on the trot now for United Estonia. So they lose 6, then win 3. Can they get another 3 on the board and even things up? UFrag are not looking to let that happen as they go for pretty much a force buy here. They've got a Famis in the hands of the baser and a couple of players without helmets, but against the AKs, it's not the end of the world not to have that helmet on the top of your head. Fetz here. With the AWP, interestingly, it's not a role that I've really seen Fetz in the past, and so far it's certainly working out for United Estonia in these last 3 rounds. It's whether they can keep this up now. Yoshi already tagged out pretty heavily here, but it looks like A might be the call here for United Estonia. Hype is just waiting around the corner and will be able to get the shot onto Mick. And now they immediately start to push up mid. They're going to try and get onto this site before the CTs can react, but you're going to see Hype and Powell are going to be there. The full flash, though, is going to deny things as Joe gets on to try and find another angle. He's got that bomb, but he's going to get taken down by Yoshi. In the meantime, though, we see Stanley gets dropped by Boaster, who has already got 2 kills for himself, and he's looking for more. He's looking to try and win this round for his team right now. But he needs to wait for Fetz to get in a good position right now. He's going to get just shut down by Powell, though. And now Boaster not in the greatest of spots. Powell can't quite spot him just yet. Obviously, Boaster just behind that wall. Boaster looks like he wants to go for this round regardless and finds the shots onto Powell. Yoshi, if he peeks this one, could be in trouble. He's already down to 27 HP. That's going to be the molly going out onto him as well, forced into a different position. It will survive for now, but gets shut down eventually. And now Boaster in a 1 versus 1. He's doing wonders this round so far, already with the 4K. If he can find this last kill onto the baser, he's looking for a single-man clean ace right now. If he can get the shots onto the baser, and he does, takes his head off and gets the ace for himself. Boaster getting another round for United Estonia single-handedly. And what a performance coming out from that player.
It was really nice. A return to form there. I like to see the return of the single-man clean ace as well. I haven't heard that in a while since the Fetz clean single man. I remember that one.
The clean single man.
The clean single man came out.
And there it is.
Yep. Push towards that big bomb site, though. Obviously, UFrag forced into a bit of a horrendous buy, not looking too great at all. And they're just getting overwhelmed, immediately slain. Everyone hitting the ground. XFP, it's on the site. He has got 1 frag, wants to try and get a follow-up, but Boaster was locked and loaded, ready for him, and was able to land the shots right between his eyes. Now, Powell through the fire and flames will try and push up onto that bomb site. Really shouldn't achieve too much, though. Fetz is aware, and we'll have the drive-by AK-47 spam down.
He certainly will, and we'll finish off that round. So nice easy one there for United Estonia, and they're 1 away from evening things up right now, but the buy is going to be available now for UFrag. They're going to be able to get themselves a full rifle buy once again, and actually we're going to see a Scar coming on through for Hype here, and we'll see what he's going to be able to do with this auto sniper, whether he's going to be able to find any kills or whether he's going to end up in a 1 versus 1 against HS with that AWP. But so far, it's a good round for United Estonia as they find the first kill of the round straight away, and that's going to be Hype just shut down. The auto sniper does nothing as Joe is more than happy to take that one on. And now the CTs kind of reeling from the punches that United Estonia are throwing relentlessly right now. And Stanley trying to get onto this site, as is Yoshi, but I don't know what they're really going to be able to do in this 2 versus 4. Stanley says they're going to be able to do something, though, as he takes one for himself, and now he's looking for HS, who just shuts him down immediately. And Yoshi, I feel like, needed to push at the same time as his teammate there, needed to make something happen on the other side of the site, because he kind of just left Stanley out to dry there.
Yeah, not a fantastic round. Now, this is going to tie things up at a 6-6, and United Estonia, it does seem like they're caught in this early game despair, where it takes them a few rounds to get the motions going. They have to warm up, and then as soon as they do, they start ripping their way through everyone. And once again, it seems to be HS that's having these entries with the backup of his teammates and just being able to find their way into the site. Joe's looking a whole lot better as well now. Everyone's really coming into the action, and it's great to see. Push towards that B-bomb site, though. Yoshi just hiding right now behind the rock. Wants to try and find a frag, but Is it going to happen? HS immediately just slicks around and takes them down.
Yeah, it certainly does, and that is going to even things up in terms of score, but in terms of cash, just take a look at the numbers that United Estonia are pulling. After they've already bought, Fetz has still got almost $13,000 to work with. He is absolutely loaded at this point. Now they're going to be able to push on through towards another round for themselves, as we're actually getting towards the end of this first half. It's been 6 each so far. But the deco coming through right now for UFrag. A couple of the players going to be running with that Desert Eagle. It's going to be Debaser and Hype. And we'll see whether they're going to be able to actually make anything happen with those souped up pistols. Is Mick going to be the point man here for the full flash onto Hype is going to be easily enough, and they push on through. As I tried to swap to the CTs, but every single time I press one of them, they just die immediately. Powell going to be the last man remaining. P250 in hand, but he's in a 1 versus 4, and it's not a 1 versus 4 AMV him in. It's going to go down in the end.
Yeah, unfortunate for Powell there not being able to get anything out of that round, but luckily they've got some money to work with. We'll see that AWP buy going out towards Powell, and here comes the double AWP. One of those actually being donned by XFP. This is going to be very interesting to see what style of play they work with this and how they work it into their setup. We actually have a look. Seeming like XFP will actually go for an aggressive mid-face early on into the round, and then Powell's playing towards that B bomb site is going to be boosted up towards tree, so he has the elevated angle. This could be very effective into the round if they play their cards right, because it does seem like this will be a B play. XFP will need to rotate over fairly quickly though, but he'll be so useful with the added range of that AWP. But here comes the push. The base shot on the close angle, rattling off them shots. Can't quite connect him, but eventually finds that headshot. HS. Here they go, gliding down into the site over the broken wall. Powell, unfortunately, trying to reposition, gets caught off guard just the wrong time. Hype will claim 1, goes in for double, and there's Yoshi as well. The headshot on towards Joe. XFP will finally arrive over there, and it's just one man to deal with. Boaster, he's had an ace in the past, already 2 frags, but it won't happen again. That's going to be a 7-7, rounded up to round 14.
It certainly is, and that is going to be Stanley finishing that round out with the AWP, and UFrag get themselves back on the board. But look how much money United Estonia have to work with. The free buy is absolutely easy pickings for them. They've still got a couple of players on $11,000. They can afford to lose another round, if not 2, and still be able to get weapons for themselves. So UFrag still have their work cut out, but it doesn't matter because we're in the last round of the half. So the full buy for both squads, and it's going to be just who can kind of edge out this lead for the end of the half. But realistically, it's going to be about the pistol next half now, as they trade 1 for 1 so far. It's going to be Yoshi trying to get some shots in across, but now it's the game of the retakers. Mick is looking for shots, but gets just taken down by Yoshi right there. Nice shots coming out from him, as we're going to see Fetz trying to get this bomb down if he can. He's going to be able to do it, but he's all on his own. He's looking for the ace himself, but Stanley from the same spot takes out the final player once more. And it is going to be UFrag taking an ever so slight lead at the end of that first half. Honestly, taking 6 rounds in a row, and then United Estonia answer with 6 of their own, and then finally UFrag are able to edge it out towards the end of that first half. And now it's going to be a lot down to the pistol on who can take the advantage towards the end, or towards the start of this second half.
Yeah, this is going to be really important to sort of, as we were saying previously, show you how it's going to go through. If you are able to get that pistol, take the slight advantage, work their way through off the back of it, with the added confidence they had previously, I reckon that's going to make them skyrocket, and they'll really hold that CT side defense effectively. But nevertheless, I'm worried about, you know, what UFrag are going to look like on that T side. It's going to be slightly harder for them. They're not going to be as structured with their T side takes. How is it going to go down? Could this affect them? Or will the more organic style that they're potentially going to play catch UE off guard?
It's going to be the question. And I mean, UE themselves kind of seem to play this very much just aggressive style. And when it feels like when United Estonia start to lose rounds, you see them slow down their play style. And that's where they seem to really start to struggle a little bit more. When they play that more slow, more calculated in inverted commas style, it doesn't seem to work out as well for them as when they can just go for that aggressive style, when they can just charge in, and just look for those 1v1 rifle duels.
So, but this is the thing, right? Like, they're not really a team. They are like the definition of just a mix that is just going to try and take those battles. All they need to do is just barrage their way in. You know, you've got Bolst that's in there putting in the input, everyone else that's coming in. I believe Boaster's calling, or yeah, I'm pretty sure Boaster's calling for the side as far as I know. So, you know, you're basically just coming up with ideas on the fly and just hoping you've got the aim to back it up. And you see that when they do just outright trust in their aim alone and trust in their individual skill to take bomb sites, it happens because they are really strong all on a personal level. But they don't have the structure there to try and take it sort of, you know, with that more calculated, slow sort of style of counter-strike. You're absolutely right.
We're going to see a bit of a pause coming through. I think one of the players having some troubles with TeamSpeak here. So just waiting for them to get that sorted out. And it looks like UFrag just going to have to get someone back in. But let's take a quick look at the scoreboard, because right now, on the side of United Estonia, there is a single man that is pulling his team towards this towards this tie, kicking and screaming right now, as he is the only one on the squad that is actually going positive. It's Boaster, right up at the top of that scoreboard, 18 for 10. And honestly, I feel like the rest of his team kind of need to pick it up a little bit here.
Yeah, we've seen some like great individual plays now and then that's been able to carry him through, but Boaster really has been sort of the critical mass in the team that's just been going off constantly. Especially, we see him like single-handedly win a round, which ended up in a 5k. That was a 1v3 that he used to clutch that out, and he does have a lot of talent. You know what I mean? He's one of these players that realised that he had a lot of potential behind him. Obviously, now playing with a European team in orbit, there is a lot of firepower behind him, and he's showing that even now.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, I think a key thing that really demonstrates what Boaster can do was that play where he came out on the he was on the T side, but he went down towards mid. They'd flank around behind him, and then he stepped out through mid again and just took one down, and then immediately controls his spray, pushes it over to another player, and gets the double kill for himself. And when you can kind of make those 2v1s happen when they're both looking at you, you can still get the double kill anyway. That's really when it demonstrates quite how strong of a player he is. But honestly, no matter how strong he's playing right now, he's going to need the rest of his team to step up and kind of match up to him right now. And interestingly as well, we've got Debaser, who is kind of subbing in for UFrag. He's the one right at the top of the scoreboard. He's the one that's leading the charge right now.
Yeah, he actually is a very talented player. Obviously, right now he plays on Perilous Fury, which I believe is him, Speedy G. Actually, you know what? I'm not too familiar with who's in that lineup, because after Tom Quiver and co departed, I don't know what they've done. But yeah, he currently plays in that Perilous Fury lineup, and they're a team that's always kind of been in sort of a weird up-in-the-air position, but he does have a lot of firepower behind him, and he's been given the right sort of tools to show that off now, especially with a team like UFrag. And if he can keep it up, it could be one of the deciding factors, especially into this second half.
It certainly could, but the B push looks like it's going to be the call right now for UFrag, sorry, not United Estonia. But here we go, the battle is on already as HS is already down to 9 HP. And they're going to be pushing on towards this side, but look at Mick taking heads left, right and centre. And then we're going to see the members of UFrag dropping on down as it's just Powell and Debaser remaining. Mighty Joe Young is incredibly low and will get dropped down by Powell in the end. But Powell's all on his own. He needs to wait for his teammate to join him. But now Boaster, we've just been talking about how he is currently carrying United Estonia. He needs to keep up that record right now as he's in a 2 versus 1 against Debaser and Powell. The bomb is down over towards the A site, but that's not going to stop Boaster. He's pushing on towards this, trying to get this retake. Debaser is going to get caught off guard. That takes him straight on down, and it's going to be Powell in the 1 versus 1. Will end up winning it out in the end. And it's going to be UFrag winning out the pistol and starting this second half off in style.
Great stuff there once again. These rounds really going down to a pin drop every time. You're not sure how it's going to happen. Every round is so vastly different. Now, guns being brought up by either side. We'll see United Estonia going for a bit of a force here. Boaster with a 5-7. You see Joe following suit. 2 CZs and 1 Deagle on Mick, which is going to be most affected. Unfortunately for Fetz, he won't even get a chance to fire off any shots from that CZ before he gets taken down by Yoshi. Everyone else begins to regroup, looking like they do want to go for this balcony burst to try and reclaim their bomb site, but it doesn't seem like there's any chance of it happening. They're getting forced back, and now they're getting slain as well. XFP comes up from behind, sprays down HS, and it looks like he's hungry for some more as he jumps around the corner through Connector, takes down MCK, and just annihilates everyone in front of him. Joe and Boaster forced into a save in this scenario.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and Stanley actually on the hunt a little bit here. He's got his Mach 10, so he's not too fussed about losing it if he does end up going down, so he's just going to search for a couple of extra kills if he can find anything, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to grab one for himself. He's making an awful lot of noise, so actually could be punished here. Boaster has that 5-7 and will be able to find the shot. But it's not going to make a difference to the round in the end. It's just going to mean that they have to go for that rebuy, but I feel like Stanley probably would have ended up going for an AK in this next round anyway. I don't think he would have been sticking to that Mach 10 now that we're going to see... Oh, wait, no, sorry, there's a whole nother round until United Estonia can get any rifles for themselves. I was thinking this was going to be the first rifle round, but actually, United Estonia have to go for another eco.
Yeah, that's true. Indeed, they don't have any money to play with in the bank. They have to try and do the best they can with the tools they've been given. And it's going to be a very hard task. They'll be overwhelmed fairly easily by that side of UFrag. They should just be able to beat them down to a pulp with the advanced weaponry they have in their arsenal. HS wanted to try and get that open, not going to go his way at all. Nice use of the nade there by Boaster. Transferred a fairly large chunk of damage over to the side of the tees. One of them getting tagged down very low there. That's Hype. Forced out of position now, but XFP's trying to cause havoc with that AK-47, slaying everyone in front of him with that Kalashnikov. Pau comes in from the rear, lands that headshot onto Joe, and that is going to be 11 rounds. Snapped up immediately now by the side of UFrag.
Certainly is, and now this is the round that I was thinking was last round. It's going to be the first rifle buy for United Estonia in this second half, and this is where they need to step up and need to start to make things happen, because look how much money Powell has started to stack up for himself. He's been sat on this Mach 10 for 3 rounds now, and he is on $8,000 to work with, even if they lose out on this one. So something has to happen. There has to be a critical mass. There has to be a break point, but Fetz is looking for a double. Only finds one for himself, though. Heartbreak right there, as I felt like that was the perfect opportunity, but Boaster is going to capitalise, and he only gets one as well. But there's only 2 terrorists remaining, so UFrag might finally lose one, but as I say that, I curse it, because it's going to be Debaser taking yet another head. Him and Stanley now with the AKs to try and force this round. Stanley does manage to find the bomb, and HS can't quite punish him for it. So he's going to be able to retreat over towards this B site, and actually Debaser in a fantastic position here. He's going to deny any rotation over towards this B site from their opponent. Stanley making his way across the map right now. But Debaser can kind of set up wherever he wants at this point and make sure that he's ready for this push that's about to come on out. But he just gets shut down immediately, and Stanley is going to go down as well. That's going to be HS and Joe both taking one each, and they managed to get themselves back onto the scoreboard. United Estonia finally managed to win a round in the second half, and that means that they're going to be able to at least get some weaponry for themselves, but they've only got 4 rifles to work with. It's going to be Mick on that Desert Eagle to kick this 20th round off.
It's going to be an important one as well. Counter boost plate, once again, is going to come into the action. HS trying to just edge out, trying to bait that shot from Pal, but he's not going to fall for that old trick just yet. He will go for an overly aggressive peek. Pal lands the shot, and that's good stuff. It's kicked off the round fairly easily for UFrag now. Potential to work their way in to capitalise off the back of it and claim round 20 for themselves, but will they be able to? It's all up in the air in the meantime. Fetz recovers his fallen brethren's AK-47, wants to try and get the angle, but XFP glides through the smoke, switches down to get that frag onto him, is aware of Joe's position as well, and claims it. This is absolutely sick stuff coming out from UFrag, just left on Boaster now, a 1v4. He's already got 1 frag, and that's all he's going to go to his grave with.
It certainly is, and Power with 2 really nice shots coming through from him. As Hype desperately wants to pause the game there. Finally is going to be able to get it paused in the end, and I think he's just going to have to quickly reconnect to the game for this one. But UFrag managed to get themselves another round on the board, and that's really going to be bad news for United Estonia, because they finally managed to get the first round of the half, and they managed to get something rolling for themselves, but then immediately UFrag shut them down, reset their economy, and now we're going to have to see another eco, unless United Estonia want to cobble together some awful kind of force buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even really worth it at that point. You might as well just eco that one out, have the extra money going into the following round, and just try and make do what you can. It's a hard gamble, though, because you look at it, you go, okay, we're basically giving them that extra round. They're going to be on 13 rounds. There's potential that UFrag off the back of that could very easily pick it up and shut down the game at that point. Only beneficial factor is you look at it right now, they've got some time where obviously Hype's reconnecting, where they can talk over things a little bit, try and work out potentially what's gone wrong, what can they change up here, where's the leak affecting them. Because it's not overly been them being able to really patch the leaks from UFrag bombarding their way into the sites. It's more so just been when all of a sudden on the retakes, their aim just snaps in and they can land the shots.
Absolutely, and we've not really seen in this second half any opportunities where United Estonia can have those shots, can find those shots that they need to, because we keep on talking about how United Estonia have got these players that in individual aim battles, in mechanical battles, they can just take those fights. But we've not really seen them finding those situations, and this is something that I was kind of talking about earlier on, is Cobblestone is one of these maps where on that CT side you can really set up these crossfires and you can set up situations where you're not going to get just straight up 1v1s, and United Estonia being on that CT side now, we'll see whether they can find themselves in those crossfires, whether they can get those on the go.
Some interesting debate.
Quickly swapping back to Caster Camp.
Oh no!
Just going to knock the toilet
Oh god!
off.
Oh no! Penguins, ignore that. You saw nothing.
I would have loved a little bit more warning on the swap back
that would have been
there.
nice, wouldn't it? Well,
but there you go.
That's what you've got.
Well, welcome back to Caster Cam. We're just waiting for the player to reconnect before we kick off with the rest of the game. Jackie and Beaky loving life right now.
Double sound.
I love this.
Yeah, they're quite fun, aren't they?
I think I'm going to take one home.
Just been having a squeeze, but us we were having a car.
We've both just been like,
yeah, we've just been sitting here. That's a sick frag. Just having a squeeze.
I don't know if that's some kind of euphemism. We've both just
been
sat here playing with our penguins.
Wow,
terrible stuff. Welcome to the UK Premiership, boys. Sponsored by Kingwin. Yay! Do you like the little badges as well? On the
they're right, aren't they? I forgot my one. It's at home. It's on my desk. I know. I've let you guys down.
Rookie error. You should have said something. We've got more.
Well,
I didn't even think about it.
I didn't want to intrude, so.
Sorry. Well, just waiting for the last player for UFrag to reconnect to the game, and we'll be able to get this underway once more. And so far, UFrag very much looking like they might have this one in the bag. If they can win the next couple of rounds, I reckon they'll pretty much just push it out for the rest of the game.
I agree. I reckon you are indeed correct. But then again, you always have that wildcard factor that United Estonia have. Never count them out. They can always come back, and we've seen that in the past many times when they bring back this aggressive style of play.
Seen that in the finals,
ruin
mate.
everyone. Exactly.
I was the only one that believed.
It's true. We all shunned you. We said, no, you're wrong. But he was correct.
But they won. I wish I'd bet money at the time now, because now I'd be a rich man.
Yep.
But alas, I am not. So I think everybody's back onto the server. We should be able to get the game going again shortly. And
maybe.
Yeah.
It was going so well. And then it's all gone wrong.
It certainly has. Well, we'll see how this one's going to pan out. And I mean, I honestly thought on paper United Estonia should have been able to kind of run away with this one a little bit. Obviously, we hadn't really seen UFrag since the promotions. It's a team that we kind of haven't seen enough of to really know how much they were going to be able to step up, and especially with a sub coming in, it felt like maybe this was going to be a map that United Estonia could just take pretty simply. But Debaser has been an absolute standout player right now. That substitution maybe actually is doing them a lot more help than not subbing. Yeah,
Deb's doing a really good job, right? He's really just popping off. He's hitting all his shots, but it's the fact you've obviously, I don't know if that's that change of style where Adam's not in the team, Deb can come in, you've got the extra firepower, and then the fact you've also got Mike calling, obviously power indeed. So he can take over that sort of role, and he isn't a very aggressive AWPer. He's done it in the past. AWPer caller. I mean, brain's gone.
My brain's
that's
gone.
happened.
Yeah, apparently we're on the spectator delay, so we should be going again very shortly on this one. I say very shortly, it's about 3 minutes on the delay. So if you need to quickly nip to the loo, grab yourself a cup of tea, anything like that, you've got 3 minutes until we're back into the match. But
stay hydrated, obviously. Yep. Drink water.
Always stay hydrated.
Yep. Or drink Red Bull.
Yeah, you can. Or you can not.
You can.
Oh, that's your decision.
There you go.
That is
it's up to you. Other drinks are available.
They are.
Also,
I've got my cup of coffee right here.
Yep.
It's delicious.
Yep. That's great.
Love me some coffee.
I love you.
I love you too, but not as much as I love Peaky.
Well, I also love Beak.
Beak. He's lost a Y.
Yep. That's what happened.
Disaster. This is probably the worst. This has got to be the worst fill we have ever done.
Yeah, it's just not happened, is it?
Yeah. Last week we had 45-minute fill right at the start of the Premiership, and
I'm just burnt out.
It felt like proper conversation this week.
Just all gone.
Just talking about penguins.
Yeah, penguins and Beak.
Penguins.
Beaky the penguin, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Well, we're back into the game.
There we are. There he is.
That's lucky because
we lost our
minds.
That
was a train wreck.
We've lost it all. We've been fired. Let's get into the action then.
Yeah, I think we should. As we're going to see another eco coming out from United Estonia. I think everyone's forgotten where we were in this matchup. It's 12-8 as Powell finds another shot with that AWP. Or AVP, as most people in Europe call it.
Or AWP.
Or AWP.
Yep. But let's find out this one's going to go down. Obviously, jumping into the fold. Seems like it will be an aggressive B-take coming out. They've got the utility to try and force people out of position, but it's not even going to be that needed. Unfortunately, won't actually reach everyone. Just sitting behind block right now, playing by Wedge. The tag's coming out. We'll find that first frag on towards Joe, but everyone else is there, grouped up. And absolute abundance of CTs waiting for the peak to come out, but they're fully blind. Everyone getting torn to shreds, and UFrag immediately take that round. Very quick stuff on the board, but now UE once again have money to play with. It's going to be limited. They will have to skimp on utility if they go for this.
Yeah, they absolutely will. And UFrag now on 13 rounds. They're kind of at this point in the game where it's looking like they just have to do this final push and they'll be able to clinch this one for themselves. They're against a full force buy from United Estonia, but if United Estonia can make this work for themselves, they'll find themselves back in the running for the match. UFrag can definitely afford a rebuy though, even if they lose this round now. HS in a very aggressive position here, but he's just going to be forced away there, fully flashed and sprayed at. But he's going to be able to find one onto Yoshi to start this round off, but it's immediately traded as Fetz tries to get himself over towards this side of the map. Stanley having to reload in very close quarters. But it's 1-for-1 so far. Neither team really finding an advantage, but as I say, that hype is going to go down, and it's only 2 teams remaining. It's the worst possible time to swap to your knife, and that's going to be Boaster finishing the round off. United Estonia get a 9th on the board. UFrag still just on 13. They can afford the rebuy, but United Estonia finally get some money for themselves.
And that is crazy. That was so awkward there, where XFP, the timing, just as he wanted to rotate out of that position, gets caught off guard, just sprinted at. Really, really odd stuff. Now, into round 23, though, as you're saying, money on either side. The Battle of the Orbs, HS Don in one, and Powell has the other. They will be chilling out for the meantime. Want to try and find a late round pick more than anything. They're not going with that over-aggressive style, splitting up as well, just playing a default so they can cover the majority of ground, seeing if UE are going to go for an aggressive peek into their territory.
UFrag hype is about to peek on our HS. Is waiting for him, does get tagged, but it is going to mean HS has to back away from that one in the end. Does take up another position very close by, tries to get the shot through the smoke, and he doesn't know quite how close he was, but that's going to be Fetz finally opening this round up for United Estonia, which is what they absolutely needed in this situation. Debaser miles away from the rest of his team, looking for an opportunity, looking for a pick to try and open this side of the map up for his team, but it's going to be the members of UFrag starting to get wiped out here. Debaser finds one for himself, as does Powell, and actually they might have just found their way onto the A site here. The CTs have to go all the way around towards the window to get themselves back in, and the molly is going to be a little bit too late to really deny too much, but there it is. 2 versus 3. UFrag are making this happen regardless, and Fetz manages to find one in the end. And on 12 HP, he's managed to hold on to the A site, but Powell doesn't mind too much. He's just going to run over to B and get that bomb down.
That B bomb site is his domain, his playground right now. As he switches out to his knife so he can scuttle away. This could be fantastic here. No reason to actually peek. He wants to go the entire way around. Down, drop down. Try and catch him off guard from behind. In the rear with the gear is Powell right now. But can he go large and in charge? Or will Fetz be able to stop him? Didn't want to make any noise on that jump, so he had to take his time. And this is perfect. Look at this. Fetz buying into the trap. Immediately actually catches him off guard as he jumped across. He's got the information on the back of it. I don't believe Fetz heard him as well. Facing the opposite angle. Realises he's over by Skyline. Will go for the peak. Lands the shot and has the kit to get the defuse as well. They're going to stay in the game.
And that was about as close as it could have been right there for Fetz. So lucky to be watched. I don't know if he actually knew where Powell was there.
I'm not sure if he caught him on the jump or if it was just, yeah, if he just checked Skylight at that point.
I think he might have just been checking that angle, to be quite honest. And Powell does end up going down in the end. It's just going to be Tech 9s coming out right now for UFrag here, as they look to maybe just go straight for an aggressive push on towards this B site here. But there's a whole lot of kit to work with. 1 for 1. To start off, and that's going to mean Hype does get himself a rifle, but not for very long as he gets shut down almost immediately. Stanley now pushing on through the smoke, and he's got a nice angle onto Mick, and will find one for himself. Debasa goes down though, and Yoshi trying to get onto the site to help out Stanley does find himself a rifle, and HS still just waiting around here. Fetz down to just 2 HP, but the T's still in with a shot at this round. I don't know if HS spotted him right there, but he's got that AWP to work with. Just misses the shot onto Barry, and he's trying to find his way back in, but will get taken down in the end. It's going to be Yoshi with the Tech 9. He's desperately trying to make this happen, and he gets the shot to Fetz. What was that? That was the tightest angle I've ever seen. And he will be able to win out the round for UFrag. They're 2 away from victory, and there's no money to talk about for United Estonia. Beautiful play coming out from Yoshi, and he might have just kept his team in the game.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Really clutch stuff down to the wire there. He needed to land that follow-up shot, and he did so. Great stuff from the man. Now, this is going to be hard, though. Round 25. UE invested a lot into this as well. They don't want to allow UFrag to get to that match point. They're trying to invest everything they can. They want to stop them. But can they do so? Or will it just all go to waste? Looking like this will be a late round push towards mid. They want to try and apply pressure to that. The bomb is there as well. Flashbang's going off the back of it, trying to zone people out towards Matrix as well, using that Molotov. They're going to be clocked on. They're going to realise that there is a push coming out soon. It just depends if Fetch wants to try and go for this. Will charge for the smoke at the right time, off the back of the flashbang as well. Spirals down with a CZ, but couldn't actually get the opener. Goes back in for round 2 though. Loves some sloppy seconds, but it's not going to work. Stanley finds the frag. There's Joe as well with a nade on towards the baser, and it's all kicking off right now. An absolute Mexican standoff as they fight over control of mid. Beautiful use of the Molotov to put Poster out of position, but they couldn't quite capitalise on him rotating off. Doesn't matter though. Stanley's an absolute madman. Spams through the smoke, finds the shot, and this is looking amazing. 3 men left standing. They're on the site. They've got angles, but can they do it, Joe?
That's going to be the question. HS knows exactly where these players are, and he finds one. That's going to be the bomb carrier as well. That's absolutely huge right now for the lineup of United Estonia, and it's going to be Joe right in this corner. Manages to find himself an AK to work with as well, and we've already seen how strong that player can be when he's got an AK in his hands. Powell with the AWP though, looking for a way onto the side, but decides he has to back away from this one, and Yoshi as well, going to run with his tail between his legs. He's got an AK, and he's going to just have to be happy with that, because United Estonia have just about clinched this round for themselves. Mick maybe needs to try and find himself a rifle off the back of this round win, because that Desert Eagle ain't going to be the greatest weapon to move on into the next round with. And we'll see whether he's actually going to be able to find some weaponry. Looks towards the AK, but can't quite grab it in time. Does have a little bit of money to work with. Having already got that armor, will be able to get himself a rifle and a grenade. Not so much can be said for Hype though, as he's only on that Tech 9. Oh, I say that. Someone had thrown him a rifle. It was just on the floor nearby. So full rifles for both teams now. And United Estonia pretty much have to win this round to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's very true indeed. How's this one going to go down there? They flood out on towards that B-bomb site, absolutely bursting their way in. No real resistance. A panic, though, as they fight against Boaster in that 1v1. Yoshi couldn't recover himself, couldn't set the pace, was bested, and this is looking horrendous. Deb goes down as well. Luckily, XFP will find one, but it's only going to be one. Mick lands that shot on towards Hype, and it's just left on Pal. A 1v5 has to occur. Will land the shot. Can he go in for the follow-up? No, he can't. HS takes him down, and United Estonia are slowly but surely clawing their way back. UFrag on the eco.
Man, there is something about United Estonia and just picking it up in the second half of the game, because this is the same thing that we saw against Altia Ego. It felt like they were completely out, and then they managed to push it to overtime, and they're looking towards a similar fate in this matchup now. Score of 14-12, United Estonia with an economic advantage, but look at this push coming on through long towards A. It's only pistols to work with, but that's going to be more than enough if they can take heads like that. Boaster goes down. And actually the retreat back over towards the B side coming out from one of the players, but the rest of the squad still going on towards A. Joe is there with the AK. He's already found two for himself, and he's looking for the hat trick if he can. Spraying on through that wall. Don't know whether he's going to be able to find anyone else, though. Debaser decided to back away from this one, and rightly so, because the rest of his squad has been obliterated. He's got a Glock to work with, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough right now. It's going to get finished off by Mick, and that is going to be another round for United Estonia. One away from the equaliser, and it has to be another eco coming out from UFrag. Or, no, they're going to go for the force buy here. Actually, a better buy than I expected, to be honest, but Powell going to be able to go for that AWP with just a little bit of armour.
Yeah, they're going to try and make the buy work. They are going to go counter boost, but this really won't be working out in their favour, you'd imagine. Somehow HS actually lands it. Fantastic stuff from the man there. Goes in for seconds as well as he takes down Stanley. This is glorious. Absolutely dominating towards that B-bomb site. There's Mike Powell, though. Lands the shot onto Mick. HS wants to try and claim the free K into this round. Nearly lands the flick, but Hype had other ideas as he takes his head clean off into a 3 versus 2. They're beginning to cross on towards that bomb site. Hype causing an awful lot of hype right now, trying to just keep everyone at bay. Powell completely blind, nearly got taken down as he rotated off past Olofmeister. The smokes go into zone out the CTs. It's giving them breathing room, time to think. Powell has to try and get that bomb on towards the site to get the advantage back into their hand. It's looking good so far, but the CTs are smart. No reason to go for these overfaces. They can just hide. The bomb isn't down. They've got 50 seconds left to play with yet. They've got time to kill, and they've also got T's to kill as Hype gets put into an early grave. Powell, a 1 versus 2 to try and secure match point. 50 seconds left on the clock. He's going aggressive right now as he slowly tiptoes round block, aware of the positioning effects, but is he switched on to Boaster? As soon as he gets this frag, he has to flick immediately if he wants to get the follow-up. He won't be able to do so. Tapping away with the Glock, so close, but yes, so far, and Boaster will claim it.
He certainly will, and that is going to equalise things now. 14-14 is the score. Whoever can win these next two rounds will take the map, but if it's 1-1, it's going to be going to overtime in our 4th game of the second week of the Premiership. And it's not the greatest of buys I've ever seen coming out from UFrag. 3 players just on the Tech 9s with grenades, but it's better than nothing right now. At least they've got that utility to work with, and the Tech 9 can absolutely destroy players if you can use it effectively. And we've seen that all of these players are more than capable of doing so. But now a much more slow and calculated round coming out from UFrag. We've seen very, very fast rounds coming out these last couple. It's not really been working out for them. So now they decide to slow things down, try and maybe look for a pick before they go for anything too crazy.
Yeah, it's do or die at this point, and United Estonia could easily pick up this match point round up against UFrag. If they go overzealous, try and barrage their way into the site, thinking they've still got the potential behind them, and they get overconfident, they need to just bide their time. They have to take it one step at a time, one breath at a time, and try and find a frag, and they do. Stanley, XFP, is going to find that opener on towards Joe. This is great, but it immediately gets traded out. Dispatched is XFP off the back of Fetz's M4. HS will also come into the fold as he shuts down Deb, and this is looking horrendous. Already 2 men taken off the UFrag roster.
Yeah, absolutely, and now they have to push on in. It's going to be Yoshi already kind of onto site right now. He needs to find his way back in, but Boaster goes down in the end. It's going to be answered immediately as Powell finds a second one for himself, and it's 2 versus 2 right now as the CTs are trying to get back onto this site, but Powell is here with the Galil, but now suddenly he's the last T remaining, and he's got to make this happen for UFrag because they can't afford to lose this round. He's looking for Fetz, who's going to be able to happily repeat this one over and over. He's not a player that's afraid to go for those kinds of plays. Powell trying to get that bomb down, but he's going to get shut down through the smoke. Fetz finds another round for United Estonia, and again, this team, this mix of United Estonia against all odds are managing to pull themselves back into the game. There's barely any money to work with, but the rifles and armor are going to be available. Not many grenades to work with for UFrag, but they've got to make this round work somehow here.
Yeah, this is it. This is do or die. Potential for overtime. HS wants to go for that early mid pick, aware that Powell's been playing that lurk very aggressively, quite actively on that T side. He's not going to be there this time. It is going to be a heavy amount of B aggression. They want to just bombard them, hit them with everything they've got.
But the question is, what is it that they've got to hit them with? Because the last few rounds, we've not really seen a whole lot to scream about from UFrag. We've got to see something bigger coming out. But look at this stack of CTs on the B site right now. And look at the positioning of Boaster. He's just waiting for his team to signal, for his team to say, yes, this is the site that they're pushing in onto, and he will be able to go for that flank. Counter boost going to be coming on out. As we see Fetz getting into a good position to try and get some sprays right here. Hype managing to find one for himself, finds a second for himself as well, and he's looking for Mick as he gets 3, and UFrag are looking to even things up right now. It's all on the shoulders of Boaster. This is a player that has been carrying his team so far this game, and we have to see him live up to his name right now. Give us something to boast about. As he finds one onto Hype, that's a nice shot with that M4. There's 2 terrorists remaining as he pushes onto the site. The bomb's already down. He's got to make it happen right now. He doesn't have time on his side. He's got a defuse kit, but that's not really enough on its own. He's going to have to tap the bomb and hope someone checks him straight away, but he doesn't really know where these terrorists are. They're still not going to check him just yet. He's going to try and hold the defuse, and actually,
oh no,
they're not going to go for it. He's going to be able to push the game into a victory. They thought he was going for a fake, but he didn't. What a way to end it. United Estonia just get it straight on with an easy defuse. Just nobody from UFrag checking it. And
I don't know, man.
That's kind of an anticlimax, to be